I must tell you how much it pains me to see you like this. Bound hand and foot, and in my own study no less. So undignified. And you had so much potential too. What a shame that it must come to this. You've worked for my family for some time now, and you know, or at least you ought to know, that there are certain, let us call them offenses for the moment. There are certain offenses against the family that will result in the offender being brought to me for a little discipline. Usually this takes the form of a broken finger or two, selected by me and performed by Antonio over there. Very painful, and it takes time to recover. Time usually best spent in reflecting on what you have done. In a way, this is actually a minor form of compliment from the family. It conveys the idea that although you have erred from the path of propriety, you are not beyond hope of redemption. Then there are certain other offenses against the family, more serious, and therefore dealt with much more harshly. The sort of offenses that do not result in the offender being brought to me, but rather brought straight to the morgue. Those sorts of offenses do not merit any other action by the family, merely a swift, efficient solution to a serious problem. We do not often have serious problems of that sort. When we do, well, you've worked for the family long enough. You must have heard the stories. And then there are the truly grave and almost unheard of offenses. Deeds committed so rarely as to be practically unthinkable by most of the folk we employ. Those offenses, like the minor ones, result in the offender being brought to me. Only, instead of some remedial finger-breaking, and a lecture upon the importance of loyalty and obedience to the family, the offender is simply never seen or heard from again. Ever. And since you will notice that the good Antonio is not engaged in the breaking of any of your fingers, and you are obviously not on a cold slab at the morgue, I'll leave it to you to work out just how grave and serious are your transgressions. As I stated before, you had so much potential. So much. All thrown away, as you shall be. What a shame. Antonio, call in one of the other gentlemen and take this disappointment down into the cellar. They are to be thrown down the oobliet.
Yes, boss. Good night, my friend. Set them down here for a moment, Marcus. I need a breather.
You getting worn out already, old man?
Merely cautious. When you get to be my age, and I hope you shall live so long, you learn to be cautious about certain things, like hauling unconscious bodies down long flights of stairs.
I can carry him down the stairs on my own, at least. They ain't that heavy.
That would be good of you, Marcus.
Just how much farther we gotta carry him, old man? You didn't tell me there was a whole nother basement underneath the basement.
There's a lot you don't know about this house, Marcus. And about this family.
That's fair. But how come the boss has us getting rid of people in his own basement? What if the cops come looking for someone down here?
The police have been through this entire manor house several times to my certain knowledge. They've never found so much as an overdue library book. They've even been down in the basement, and this basement below it. They're just not looking in the right place, is all. And they wouldn't know what they were seeing if they did look in the right place.
And where is the right place, old man?
Right behind you. That circle of raised stones with the rusty iron grate affixed over the top.
What the? Is that a well? Like, with a bucket and rope and you haul water out of it kind of well?
Yes. Not so much the bucket and rope, at least not in my time. But yes, it was a well once.
Jeez, that thing looks ancient. How old is it? It looks like they built the whole damn house on top of it.
Funny you should phrase it like that. They did, actually. The entire manor house was built atop this old well. 200 some odd years ago, when the boss's grandfather moved to this region.
And we just, what, dump them in there? Just open the top and drop them in? That's a hell of a way to go out. What'd they do to piss the boss off that bad?
Best you don't know, young man. Best you don't know. But there are some things it's time you did know. Hey, give them a look right quick. Are they still out?
Looks like it. They're breathing a bit weird, but their eyes are shut and they ain't moving around.
Good. I feel uneasy speaking on this with extra ears listening. It's time you were told about this well, Marcus. The oobliet, the boss calls it. Since you'll be taking over my position in the family when I'm gone, still many years from now, I hope, it's time you knew how it works. There are things I know for sure about this well, and how it relates to the family. And there are things I don't know for certain, but I have my suspicions. So here it is. Marcus, I've been hauling people down here once a month since I was your age. No, don't ask any questions just now. Just listen. Once a month, every month, since I was your age. I don't ask why, or what they did, or who they were, because that's not my job. And they just disappear. There's a splash, sometimes some struggling and yelling for a while, but that well never gets any more full, and there's no smell. It's just there. Once a month, since I was your age. That's a dozen people a year, Marcus. Think of how that adds up with the passing of time. And I'm old, Marcus. Still hale and hearty enough, but I have a lot of years on me. And the boss, he's my age. I know he looks much younger, but we grew up together. Played together in this house as children. We're the same age, but he could easily pass for half my age. So that's what I know, and here's what I suspect. And I do suspect, because I've worked for this family my whole life, and heard a lot of whispered things, maybe some things I ought not to have heard. But I keep my mouth shut and I do my job. I think there's something down there, Marcus. Something in the well Something old. And I mean old like mountains, Marcus. Not old like me. Something that was there when the well was built. Something that was there when the manor house was built over the well. Something the boss's line knows about. I think a few generations back, somebody talked to that thing and made a deal. The boss is old. My age, like I said, but he don't look it. He's going to live a long time if he doesn't catch a bullet or get poisoned or some such. His father lived a long time too. I don't know about the grandfather, but likely as not the same stands for him as well. And that thing down in the well, it wants people, and it found someone willing to bring it what it wanted, and in exchange they got long life and who knows what else, and somehow that deal gets passed from father to son. And here is me, dropping people down a hole in the basement for the boss, once a month, for over 50 years. As you will be one day too, Marcus.
Old man, you ain't never lied to me. I don't think you're the type. You either tell somebody the truth or you don't tell them nothing. What you just told me sounds like crazy talk. I ain't gonna lie to you and say it doesn't. But coming from you, I don't know if I buy it, but you don't sound like you're putting me on. So I'm gonna go with it. The whole idea creeps the hell out of me all the same. But screw it. I'll just shut up and do what I'm told. That's how the family works, right?
That's right, Marcus. You're a good kid. You'll fill my shoes just fine. Now let's get this over and done with. And afterwards we can go for a drive and I can tell you a bit more about all of this. I'll open up the grate and you tip them over and in.
You got it. Should they go in head first or feet first?
Feet first. It's the boss's preference for cases like this.
Okay.
The new sacrifice. It's about time they fed me again. I get so hungry after so long. But you're here, so they're keeping up their end of the deal. So I'll keep mine. It's so dark down here, isn't it? So dark and wet. And you it's hard to do. My voice is like my body. It's everywhere. It's all around you. Do you think this is water you're floating in? Well, it is, and it isn't. I am the water. I fill this little enclosure, and I fill all the little cracks and crevices that lead out of it. And I am all around you, touching you, surrounding you with my own body. It's only a liquid, but it can still be felt. I want you to feel things that might be rather more solid, pointy, sharp, and it's time to feed. Where should I start? Maybe a gentle nibble of the fingertips. Fingers always have such an interesting feel to the tongue. And it feels so nice to sense you wriggling and squirming. The pricking sensation of teeth glides over your skin. Perhaps an earlobe. Those are fun to drag the teeth across. So enjoyable, too, to send a stream of cold water slowly flowing across the ear itself. Or maybe the tip of your nose should get the nibbling teeth. Maybe you should feel the tips of the teeth all over your body. Just the slightest touch of the tips, but everywhere at once. And there's no way to get away from the touch. You cannot free yourself from the water, and the water is me, and I am the water. Yes, struggle and splash all you like. Feel the fear and panic start to rise in you. Let it surround you as I surround you. That fear of the unknown. The fear of the dark. The fear of the water. The fear of drowning. Oh, I won't let you drown. I want to feed from you, not kill you. fills me up. But I shouldn't just keep you down here in the dark. Not in this enclosed, wet place where you can't escape from me. No. It's time to take you someplace better suited to inciting terror in you. Away. Someplace with a bit more room to run. So let's go. Welcome, human. Welcome to my own personal corner of the chaos. I've made a very special place for you. It's your own little tropical island. Well, more of a sandbar, really. But at least it's dry. For now. And all around you, all the way out to the horizon, in fact, in every direction, nothing but water. Nothing at all but water all around you. That water is me. There's no place to swim to. Nowhere to run. Not on that little spit of dry sand and pebbles. And eventually, it will begin to get darker. There's no sun here to set, but the light will fall all the same. And around that same time, that's where the tide begins to rise. Enjoy the view, human. When it gets dark later, and the waters make their way up the sandbar, slowly rising, and then covering it over completely. Oh, we're going to have so much fun together, you and I. So much fun. If you need anything, just ask for it. I'm right here. All the